Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon to everyone. I'm Naomi Salim from the Faculty of Engineering UTM. On behalf of the Faculty of Engineering UTM and Innovation and Commercialization Center UTM, we would like to welcome all of you to our forum this afternoon, which we titled How Should We Price Our Consultation Fee, Research Product and Contract Research? UTM has recently launched the AIM4STAR Consortium that serves as a quadruple helix collaboration platform between university, industry, society and government. Our academicians are now more than ever encouraged to use their expertise and university resources, including students, research officers and equipments, to give more values to external parties outside the university and solve the problems of society, industry and government agencies. University has long been known as a non-profit organization. We are set up to serve the nation and help our industry. Many external parties assume because of that since universities are service-oriented institutions and academicians have steady, fully paid monthly salary paid by the government, plus research, consultation and community services are part of our job scope, we should charge less compared to charges for similar work and output quoted by other commercial firms. However, we researchers oftentimes are in a dilemma on how to put the right price for our services and products. If we charge too low, people will think that our services are of substandard compared to services provided by our profit-making counterparts. Worse still, there can be situations where we do not have adequate funds to pay full-time staff or research assistants. There are times because of the low payment we can afford to give because of incorrect pricing that we charge our clients, we cannot sustain good staff to finish the projects. They left the project midway after we trained them to join companies that can better pay them. When this happens, some of us also need to spend a lot of time doing things ourselves, which can drag the project timeline, and because we have other tasks to do, such as teaching. Nowadays, universities are also under the pressure to generate our own income and become less and less dependent on public funds. One of the ways to become financial self-sustained is by generating income through consultation, services, contract research, and commercialization of research products and technology know-how. So, how best to strike a balance, the right balance in terms of our charges to external party, and when we are giving services or when we want to commercialize our product and technology licensing. And at the same time, we are aware that we want to help the industry, the government, the society as much as we can, and we do not want to burden them. So today we are lucky to have a lineup of very distinguished and experienced panelists to share their experience and knowledge with us. First, we have Yamulia Tinkunila. She is the Senior Vice President of MTDC Training Academy, Tentra. She possesses a wealth of knowledge and skills in branding and marketing, having been attached to numerous multinational corporations such as the Body Shop, the Non-Dumex and F&N Diaries, Colgate Palmolive, Dutch Lady, and the French group SEB. She held various portfolios from brand management to medical marketing and commercialization initiatives in Malaysia and other regional countries, including Singapore, Brunei, and Hong Kong. She taught marketing subjects for MBA students at the Putra Business School, UPM, from 2013 to 2014. She has coached companies and individuals in the broad areas of marketing, and she was invited as speakers in various seminars for stakeholders from Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Kazakhstan, Asian countries, and Common Market for Eastern and Southern African countries, COMSA. Tinkunila is also a council member of the Institute of Marketing Malaysia. She is a certified trainer under HRDF under the purview of Ministry of Human Resources Malaysia. She provides marketing training, business communication, and advisory services for startups and SMEs in Malaysia. The second panelist that we have today is Professor Dr. Zucclefy Yusuf. He is a professor in environmental hydrology at the School of Civil Engineering, Faculty of Engineering, UTM. He holds a PhD from University of Manchester, and some of the major positions and tasks that he has held. He was the research dean for the Water Research Alliance until 2015, and the Resource Sustainability Research Alliance until 2019, February 2019. He was the director of IPASA, or Institute of Environmental and Water Resource Management, UTM. He is a fellow of Academic Science Malaysia since 2014 and fellow of Academy of Malaysia, Professor Malaysia since 2020. He's also the board of director at Lembaga Urus Air Selangor, LUAS, and editor to a number of journals. Professor Zul has vast experience as project leaders for various consultancies and research projects. Last but not least, we have Associate Professor Dr. Shuku Abduraza, who is an Associate Professor at School of Computing, Faculty of Engineering, UTM. He is currently the Director of UTM Research Management Center. He has been with RMC since 2013, starting his management career as the IT Manager of RMC, and then appointed as Deputy Director for Project Management and then Deputy Director for Research University before being appointed as RMC Director. Apart from his research management experience, he himself is actively involved as Principal Investigator for more than 30 research grants, in which 7 of them are contract research. So we thank all the panelists for being with us today. So let me start the forum by inviting Associate Professor Dr. Shuku. So Dr. Shuku, based on your experience, can you share with us on how best to determine the costing for our contract research? What are the elements that we should consider in the cost structure? And what are the pitfalls that you would like us to be aware of? Okay, over to you, Dr. Shuku.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear viewers, thank you Prof Nomi for the opportunity for me to share some of the experience and knowledge regarding contract research. So the first question actually before any of our researcher would like to conduct contract research or consultation, they often come to me and ask, should I register this project as consultation or contract research? How do we differentiate between these two? What is the best costing and such? So I'll try to answer these questions this afternoon. Okay, let me share some slide. Right. Okay, sorry, there is some delay. Okay, so what I could say is the difference between contract research and consultation, we could see the difference in 3 perspectives. Number 1, in terms of the whether the project involve creation of new knowledge or not. Normally, when we talk about contract research, the client who approaches normally would like us to explore certain things, not just for the benefit of their company, but also for benefit for the society. So in order to accomplish that project, the researcher need to somehow conduct a literature review, propose some improvement towards the creation of a new knowledge. Compared to consultation, normally the project will be in very short term, so the company or the client expected the researcher to just use whatever expertise, knowledge that the researcher already have. So they don't expect us to still conduct literature review, still finding a solution for the problem. They just want us to embark into the research, settle the problems according to what your knowledge that you have now, in a very short period of time. That's perspective number one. Perspective number two, in terms of dissemination of knowledge. So since contract research involve the creation of knowledge, so both parties are quite relaxed in terms of publishing the finding of the research project. Compared to consultation, since the company uh, employ or hire us to conduct the consultation to provide solution to the company's problems and to be ahead of competitors. So normally our finding or our solutions is protected. So they don't want us to disseminate, they don't want us to publish any papers and such. In third perspective, in terms of IP. So in contract research, normally client do not fund the whole cost for the project. The company or the client expected us as researcher to contribute something. It could be our in-kind time, maybe resources from university to somehow top up the cost of the whole project. Uh, Compared to consultation, normally the client or companies will fund the whole cost of the project. And because of that, the IP will solely owned by the client or the company. Whereas in contract research, we could negotiate depending on the funding agreement, in-kind services or facilities that we provide to complete the project, we could somehow claim certain portion of the IP based on the solution that we produce. Okay, so that's basically how we differentiate between contract research and consultation. So let's move on to the how do we manage contract research and consultation in UTM. In UTM perspective, contract research is managed by Research Management Center, and we have reason for this because normally contract research, when company award of the contract research, they are actually expecting some tax exemption. And in the case of RMC, we offer double tax deduction, which can only be issued by RMC to inland revenue. Whereas in consultation project, in UTM, we do have UTSB or UTeam to manage our staff consultation project. So in terms of IP, I have mentioned just now that consultation project normally IP is normally owned by the company, whereas contract research, depending on the costing agreement, we could have share in terms of IP ownership. Right. Next, the most important part is actually on the costing strategy. Okay. Normally, when we do a contract research, based on my experience receiving a lot of proposal from UTM researcher, normally we only cost the project costing based on what we call, based on what we call directly incurred costs. Okay, so what is directly incurred costs? So, but before that, normally or in general, we have three types of costing for contract research. Number one is directly incurred costs. Number two is directly allocated costs, and number three is indirect costs. So in the case of directly incurred costs, okay, this is what normally we charge or we put in our project costing, right? We put down what are the expenditure for research officer salary, our research assistant, or in fact our graduate research allowance, for instance. How much we need to purchase equipment, travel and subsistence, professional services if we need to hire a professional service, or perhaps expenditure for consumables. So these are normally what we do, we put in our project costing. Whereas actually, we must also consider the second cost, which is directly allocated cost. Okay. So as a researcher, since we are being paid by UTM for our salary, so that's actually covered our time working in UTM. But to conduct research, to complete the research contract research project, we also need to allocate some time as principal investigator or as co-investigator. Perhaps maybe every week we allocate 2 or 3 hours, or maybe every month 10 to 12 hours, for instance. So these hours need to be calculated in terms of the value that need to be paid by the company, and we could actually put this as a charge towards a principal investigator honorarium, or in some cases client not allowed for us to charge honorarium in the case of government agency contract research. So in this case, what we could do is we could put the charge as our allocation for IP share later on. So another thing that we often do not put in our costing is cost for estate or premise to conduct research. We take for granted that we have office, lab, spaces in UTM that you could conduct our research, put our equipment and such. But actually, we could actually calculate the cost of space rental and put that into contract research costing. And not to mention technician involved to operate the lab or the space. So again, as I mentioned, we could actually charge those costing as part of our IP share later on in the IP ownership scheme. So we need to actually negotiate with our client in terms of whether they can actually fund this indirect allocated cost, direct allocated cost, because normally client will not actually put budget for this. But for big company, we could actually ask for them to actually also put a portion for the directly allocated cost. Last but not least is actually the third category of costing, which is indirect cost. So indirect cost is actually a single calculated rate for full-time equivalent employees that actually help us in managing the research contract. For instance, at RMC, we do have contract staff to go through the research agreement, prepare the double tax deduction documentation, help with preparing the final report, financial report and such. So those are not actually costed in project cost, but we could actually put this explicitly in our project costing. However, at RMC, we already started to charge very low, minimum 5% of the total project cost in the indirect costing, where 3% of the money goes to RMC, 1% to DPCRI office, and 1% to university. So even though 5% is relatively low, but we need to start somewhere. And in fact, if we could see the list of example of indirect costs that we could put in the costing, we could actually charge our client in terms of research facilities that we use, health and safety compliance management, the usage of utilities, IT technology and infrastructure, perhaps security of the building, which actually we put our research equipment, disposal of hazardous waste and such. Okay, so the part 3, I would like to also introduce what are the support system in UTM for conducting a contract research in UTM. Number one, we do have a dedicated support unit. Last week, Alhamdulillah, our university management approved the formation of fast lane unit in RMC, which will be dedicated to look after industry project scouting, double tax deduction briefing to companies, preparing research agreement and approval, and managing the whole process of contract research, including the tax documentation preparation. Support number 2 that we have in RMC UTM also what we call a DTD scheme. So in DTD scheme, what we offer is that for every research funding provided by the company, they could enjoy double tax deduction, and all the documentation will be prepared by RMC. So they just give us some documentation, and then we prepare everything to be sent to Inland Revenue. The third support system that we have is advance funding. Normally, we require or we need certain time before the fund from the client to be deposited to UTM account. So how do we support this contract research? Researcher could actually come to RMC and request for advance money to kickstart the project. And the money that the researcher could request is actually up to RM 200,000. Okay. Last but not least, I also would like to highlight some of the incentive that researchers could enjoy by securing the contract research. Number one, we have matching fund at UTM, in which we could actually fund one-to-one matching fund for every contract research given to our staff, but subjected to whatever available balance that we have in our research account. Number two, we do have IGGG grant. So for every contract research secured by our staff, researcher could actually apply for IGGG grant, maximum RM 20,000 to top up with the contract research money received from the client. And last but not least, we also have incentive to the research group. So for every research group that facilitate their members in securing contract research, they will be given 1,000 per contract research for further networking activities. So Prof Nomi, I hope I have given an overview about contract research and how do we manage and what are the incentive benefit that we have in RMC UTM. So over to you, Prof. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Shuku, for the very insightful sharing. Next, I would like to invite Professor Zul. Professor Zul, you have vast experience in leading consultation projects. Clients keep on coming again and again to use your service. So you know both the pain and the gain of doing consultancy. Can you share with us on how you charge your consultation services? Any formula? And is there any difference in terms of charging consultation fee when you just started out and want to penetrate the market compared to when you are more established and known now? Okay, over to you, Professor Zul.
Thank you so much, Prof. Naomi, for giving me the opportunity to share my experience. I want to share my screen now. Can you share screen? Okay, masalah pula tadi dah okay. Share screen. Share screen. Lain pula. Okay. Share screen. Okay. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my experience in dealing with consultancy project. Over the past 20 years at UTM, I think I have been heading more than 40 consultancy projects covering topics such as flood studies, non-point source pollution management, lake management, river rehabilitation, water management, climate change impact, environmental impact, environmental index, some study on EIA report, even though I'm not focusing on both serving the local as well as international client. With regard to the question raised by Prof. Naomi, I think this is very relevant issues, especially for those who have just started doing consultancy. So what is the basis for us to decide on the fees that we want to charge to the client? Of course, it depends on the scope of the work. I think this is understood, but some people may have different way of judging the scope of the work. Sometimes the job is big, but they feel it is small. So I think we have to have some way to measure the scope of the work. I'll discuss this in relation to man later on. And then whether the job is really a specialized, needs specialization or not. In the case of hydrology, for example, when we talk about hydraulic modeling, that is very specialized. Even when we talk about flood modeling, that is also specialized. So that kind of job which require skill, knowledge, as well as special software, normally we can charge a little bit higher compared to other job. And of course, it depends on the experience, seniority, because the rate is actually calculated based on the basic salary. Definitely, if you are more senior, the rate should be higher compared to those who are quite junior in service. Also, depending on the type of document, type of job that you have to engage, is it a tender process? Is it a true tender process or direct nego? If it is through tender, open tender, then you have to really know what is your competitor. And what is the ceiling possibly. It's difficult normally to get the ceiling from the client, but you have to make guesstimate that kind of job. What is the ceiling normally allowed by the client? So tender normally is complicated. In this case, I recommend you to work with UTSB because you have to follow all the procedure, everything. Right? If you miss one of the document, that will be a technical knockout. The tender will be just basically reject like that. For example, as simple as one of the CV of the team is not there. So that is also qualified to be disqualified. The other one is direct nego. This is better, but direct nego is not always the case. It is really based on whether the client knows us or not. If the client knows us, we have good track record, I think there is better opportunity to get direct nego. So in that case, you can more or less got some hint what is the ceiling, and then you have a better opportunity to prepare the proposal and better chance, of course, to get the job, because more or less you are already indicated that the job is going to be given to you. So if that is the case, it's easier. But normally direct nego, the ceiling is not that high. Maybe around less than 500,000, that is possible. As mentioned by Prof Shuku tadi, there is difference between research and consultancy. Consultancy is something that you have to apply your knowledge quickly at that time. You don't have to dig new knowledge or something like that. Basically, the knowledge is already with you. You want to apply that knowledge to serve the client. So basically, we don't have to think new thing. It's something that is already in your mind, in your team, and you are confident that you are able to deliver the job. Client will also look at our track record, our delivery result in the past, how we deliver the report. If they are happy with us, the chance of getting the job is better. And of course, when we submit the project, we must aim that we hope to get another project in the future. So the issue is how much should we charge? There are two things: whether we should really understand what is our value, the expertise, the energy that we spend, and the time that we also allocate for the project. At the same time, maybe especially among the young researcher, they also want to get collaboration with the company or government department and so on. So they could be, as mentioned by Pronomi, dia macam serba salah. What is the right price to be offered to the client? But for me, even do consultancy, maybe I was like that also at the beginning of the career. When I was the director in PASA last time, was quite. I just prepare proposal almost every 2 weeks. Prepare proposal. Some I got, some I don't get. So basically, at that time, maybe we have to offer a bit less in order to make sure that they give us opportunity to the job, and through time, and be able to convince them they were able to deliver the product. I think normally most of the time they offer us the job rather than we we submit proposal. So for me, sometimes low price doesn't guarantee that we will be securing the job, and or maybe we will be getting the next job. That doesn't guarantee. For me, I think it is important to set a price that is able to commensurate our knowledge, our energy, and time that we spend. I think the keyword there is that it must be rewarding. It must be rewarding not only for yourself but for your team and for your center that you are working with. There are simple procedure actually to calculate how much we should be paid. Basically, when preparing the budget, there are three main components. One is the fees. Fees is divided into two: professional fees, which is for the academic staff, and sub-professional fees, which include the technician or maybe the RA that we want to employ for that specific project. And then we have reimbursable. Reimbursable normally is about 30% of the total project. Cannot be too high because UTSB will charge you mainly based on your fees. If the reimbursable is too high, meaning that actually the profit shared by UTSB or UTSB will be less. Normally, I put it about 30%. How can we claim? By receipt, such as when you purchase something or you get services from other company, you can get receipt. Or lump sum, in the case of, for example, like mileage or stationery, small thing, you can charge lump sum. Don't forget that actually you have to pay also some tax and some deduction to UTM. The sales service tax is 6%, and then remember to contribute to UTM 10% now, and also contribute to center and faculty 5%. So basically 20% of the total cost is actually for deduction, tax and deduction. How we calculate the fees? This is important. So we calculate our fees based on man-month. Man-month actually is defined. Man-month is actually equal to 20 days per month because we work 5 days a week. So the rest is actually hujung minggu, and also we take some leave. So normally we use 20 days per month. So you estimate the job. It requires to spend how many days? If it is 20 days, that is equivalent to one man-month. If it's 30 days, that is 1.5 man-month. Normally, the total man-month that I don't know whether there is a clear guideline or not, but I normally ensure that actually the total man-month for doing consultancy job is not more than 3 man-month per year. Because as lecturer, academician, we are supposed to do other job as well, not doing consultancy alone. And there are many other jobs. There are 7 or 8 pieces for us to deliver. So consultancy is just one of the P. So I think we should, if possible, limit our man-month to do the consultancy to my guideline is 3 man-month. And then we have factor. This is introduced by Ministry of Finance. Our basic salary can be multiplied by factors ranging from 1.2 to 2.2. This is actually to account for the cost that is provided by the university, as mentioned by Prof Shuku just now, the office cost, the utility, and so on. And then the fees basically is our basic salary time this factor, financial minister factor, I guess that FM is that factor, finance minister. And then time man-month. That is the basis for calculating our fees. So I have Excel file here for us to possibly understand. Of course, we have to list all the team. If the project is big, we have to have many members in the project. Basic salary, time with the factor. In this case, I use 1.6. Even though we can go as high as 2.2, but if we use 2 or 1.8, then the fees is going to be very high. So normally, in order to adjust the fees, we can always adjust this one from 1.2. 1.2 maybe is too low, maybe 1.4 minimum. So maybe the highest we can go is 1.8. And then this is the man-month. For example, in this case, the project leader spent only 0.65 man-month. That also, in a way, correlate to the basic salary. If the basic salary is high, then maybe we should reduce the man so that the proportion that we got is not so different from the rest of the team. And for the younger members, normally the basic salary is less, so we can put high man 2 or 1.8. But it is important to at least have some guideline that the maximum total man in a year is 3 man. And then we have to remember that in any project we need research assistant or our technician to be involved in the project. We also need to put their fees here. In this case, is 2,500 per month. The factor is 1.6. The man is of course much higher compared to us as a consultant because they are helping us in data collection, field work, because they are full time basically. While us is actually a part of our job. And then we can also, the reimbursable is basically, to be easy, is traveling and transportation, services, stationery, and also reporting. We can use quantity base, let's say 3,000 kilometer per kilometer is 80 cents and so on. Or we can use lump sum in the case of stationery and so on. And finally, we can easily calculate the total cost. We put UTM deduction to UTM and IPASA as well as the SSTC percent. So this is the total cost. That is the basis for determining the fees and the total project cost. It's very important for us to set the payment schedule. In doing so, we have to discuss with the client, and the client must agree on the payment schedule. Sometimes the client will only pay the fees when we have completed certain amount of work. But some work needs some upfront and sebagainya. So we need to request that, if possible, we get some portion upon signing of the contract. What happened? This is basically the schedule, and we will follow the payment according to the schedule. What happened if the client is not paying according to the schedule? I think this is important for us to involve UTSB. There is the role of UTSB. If the payment late in paying, they can issue warning letter. Remember that there is SOP for sending a warning letter. You cannot send too frequent or not according to the schedule that is stipulated in the SOP. If you don't follow that one, the company can always say you didn't follow the SOP, therefore we don't want to pay. And that kind of thing need to be avoided. And in this case, UTSB is very helpful in helping us. Important also that when we got a project, we have in mind what is the backup if, let's say, anything happen. I have experience, for example, in doing detailed AI project in one state. The project almost completed. We tell them that we must do public dialogue, but the client don't want to do because election is close, so delay. And at the end, the election is keep on delaying. And then we send another letter that the public dialogue must be conducted within 3 or 4 months. Failing to do so, the report will not be accepted by the UE. Okay, done. But we have to file all that and file in UTSB and file. About 1 year later, the state government come again to continue the work. Then at that time, we have some strong argument that since the duration is over, and we already remind them few letters on this matter, so we can say that we basically considered the job complete. And if they want some additional work, we can charge VO, something like that. How to protect us from, let's say we overdo, or maybe the client would like us to do more job. I think this is important for us to really detail out in the term of reference. This term of reference must be agreed by both the consultant and the client, we and the client, and finalized before the deal is actually closed. It is the role of the project leader to outline the TOR. The project leader must be able to imagine fully what is the scope of the work and written that and write that in the form of TOR. Understand the scope of work and also estimate the appropriate cost based on the TOR. TOR must be clearly identified and clearly identify the deliverable and scope of work. And then important for you to sign an agreement, especially when you when we're doing the work with company. Government maybe is better, but when we dealing with private company, it's very important for you to sign agreement. What if client asks additional work? The job almost done, suddenly the client want you to do some other job. So we have to come back to the TOR. This is the list of TOR that we have agreed. You can negotiate. If, let's say, it doesn't involve a lot of energy, additional funding, maybe you can entertain. But in case that is totally new or outside the scope and the TOR, and then you can ask variation order. This is important. We can ask variation order. This is additional job. We can do it, but with additional payment. This is very important to make sure that actually we are not trapped. We have to stop at certain date. Okay, now the job completed. Submit the report. Normally, in our case, basically when we present, we have draft final report, presentation. We receive comment from the stakeholder maybe within 1 month. Then after 1 month, we will answer all the question in the final report, and then submit again the final report. When that final report is accepted, we consider the job done. No more after that. Otherwise, we cannot stop. And they keep asking a lot of things. Example of TOR, very specific. I think I don't have to discuss this. I think that's all first for the first round, Prof. Naomi.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Zul. Thank you for Prof. Zul for your sharing. Now we move on to Yamulia Tinkunila. So Tengku, you have successfully helped big names in terms of their product pricing. What is your advice to us now on the most suitable price tag for our research products and technology know-how licensing? Can you share basic calculations to price different types of product, different types of technology know-how licensing and services? And do we differentiate between different clients and different markets? And maybe you can also share with us whether we have to factor in whether it's for exclusive rights or it can be shareable with other clients. Over to you, Yamulia Tinkunila.
Okay, test. Prof, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Madam Moderator, and good afternoon to the audiences. I mean, it is a little bit too bad I can't see all of you, but I do understand that we have a mixed bag of audience. I think we do have academicians, lecturers, researchers, and perhaps students as well during this sharing session. So actually what I will do, I think in my slides, some of the things that Prof. Naomi mentioned just now would be in some of those slides, I think. But otherwise, I think we will take it through, yeah, Prof, during the Q&A, or if any of you need any elaboration, I think you can type your questions in the Facebook chat. Okay, let me share my screen now. Right, Prof, can you see this, Prof, on my behalf?
Yes, I can see the slides.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, my name is Tinkunila. I think Prof has already kindly introduced a little bit of my background. Okay, I have actually my career journey has been mostly in fast-moving consumer goods in several multinational. I started my first career in the body shop. I've been a brand manager at Umax, FNN, and I was the marketing director for the region for the brand Tefal. And maybe some of you would be familiar with the brands. Okay, yes, I used to teach marketing for the MBA students and currently trying to complete my DBA. Okay. All right. Now, some of my experience when looking at the pricing development. Okay, you have seen the brands or the company that I've worked with. So these are some of the brands that my team and I have actually developed for the customers. Yeah, and we have various customer segments. I'm sure also UTM has research in the areas of what do you call that, healthcare products. I think there are quite a number of research products that UTM already have, I mean, which is already very good, and they are in the market. I think some of you are actually from the engineering faculty. So I just want to share with you that in Tefal is a European-based companies, and they actually did a lot of their contract research with universities. And the universities actually lend the knowledge, yeah, and their R&D in producing all the technology that you see in, this is the red spot technology in Tefal. So this was actually a product, from universities in one of those countries in Europe. And I've also had the opportunity to price products, daily products that we use, like Softlearn, Dynamo, and also nutrition products. Yeah, I think some of you would know or are consumers to Farmhouse Brands and Magnolia. Yeah, and also I'm not sure, maybe so to the parents, you would have seen milk powder to grow baby leg. Yeah, and most of these products are actually research based. Yeah, it is very important because these are products from credible companies, and it is actually what do you call that, very effective when we promote such a product in the market, because we carry with us the establishment and also the credibility of the product offerings. And currently, I am heading the NTDC Academy. So at Tentra, we have also had the experience in providing training and consultation quotations, yeah, or requests for proposal. So maybe I will share a little bit with you on that. Okay, let me move on. Okay, I'm not sure if there are marketing students here or entrepreneurship student, but pricing, as you know, is actually part of the marketing mix, or we called it the marketing 4 Ps. So let's just focus on pricing for this afternoon. I have several questions for you. Maybe you can type in the chat. Has anyone here been involved in setting up a price structure? Doesn't matter whether they are products or services. And what are the decision making that went in when you do up your price structure? Is it bottom up or is it top down decision making strategy? Let us know. Okay, just a little bit on the theory. Why price is so important, because price actually determine the profit margins of the company, and also the supply and demand of the product, the inventory holding when you are talking about the manufacturing plant, and of course the marketing strategy that the marketing team will actually implement in promoting a new product in the market. And for some of you, what is equivalent to price, fees, rental, listing price, if you've got a new product that you're going to bring into the market. Sometimes you also call it penetration pricing strategy. I will take you through that afterwards. Price discounts, yeah, that is also a category within pricing. Wholesale price, selling price, etc. So these are all what do you call that, synonym, yeah, to price. Right. So there are categories of new products or services that warrants some thinking on the pricing strategy. Is the product new to the world? Yeah. Is it an addition to the current range or line extension? Is there any improvements, small or big, to the current product range? Is this about a repositioning strategy? So for example, you are a mid-tier product and you want to launch something really good from the lab, from your R&D, and you want to position it. Yeah, it's a repositioning angle to be a premium product, and perhaps you're looking at cost reductions. Okay, again, there are several types of pricing strategy. Those that I've actually highlighted in blue can actually be used for products and services. Yeah, so competition-based pricing. So when you look at maybe say UTM, once you want to you are actually entering an RFP. Request for proposal maybe from an entity, so you want to potentially look at usually how much would your competition actually price their product or their kind of quotation. So you want to consider benchmarking them. The other one is cost plus pricing. So this is usually what we call, what is the minimum margin that you're looking at, and then you plus a certain percentage, and then the rest dynamic pricing. Freemium pricing. Freemium is usually like, you're on LinkedIn, you're on Canva, that these are a lot of the very nice software, and of course, LinkedIn, there's the what do you call that, the free option, but you can also upgrade, to enjoy more services. Hourly retainer pricing. So this is again for consultancy works. Yeah, you can actually go by the hour. 4 days equivalent to half a day kind of training, or if a company cannot afford an expert on the long run, so they go on a short period, 6 months, 1 year kind of retainer price. Penetration pricing is you're a new boy, yeah, you're about to enter the market, so you wouldn't want to really price yourself high, yeah, because you have actually not built a credibility. You are not a household name yet, yeah. And also project based pricing. So I think the rest, I think if you're marketing students, if you're entrepreneur student, you would come across all this bundle pricing, psychological pricing like 13.99, those kind of pricing level. Yeah, and geographic pricing is sometimes we need to price, products going to Sabah Sarawak slightly higher because of logistics consideration. Okay, so far so good, I hope. Yeah, so you can type in the Facebook chat. If you've got any questions, just post it there. All right, the next one is product mix pricing. Yeah, product line pricing, I've already explained to you just now. These mainly for household items. Yeah, for example, your Dynamo Blue price is what, 19.99, and then you have another range, anti-bag. Those are the kind of consideration, whether the size is 1.8 liter in the bottle or is it in the aluminium foil. Yeah, that is product line pricing. Optional feature pricing would be like what I put here in the table. Yeah, I'm sure you have seen this. I take this like if you visit the hair salon, you have to pay, quite a high price. If your hair is being styled by the pro. Yeah, or if you don't have that much money, but you still want a reasonable look in your for your hairstyle, then you go for the regular stylist. Otherwise, you go for the junior staff. Similarly with consultancy, you could charge a premium price if the partner is actually the key, the main person who's actually managing the account. But otherwise, if you can't afford the partner actually working on your projects, then you will actually meet the senior key account managers or the junior key account managers. Similarly with online software, for the low tier, free, you can use the apps or the software online, but you don't get any support or updates. But if you do upgrade, maybe you will get some support updates for 1 year, yeah, and perhaps you can renew. And for the premium option, you get the support, you will get the updates, plus a lot of freebies. Okay, so these are some of the examples. I'm sure you have seen this. You've already familiar with this. Yeah, product bundling pricing. The fast food always has a bundle kind of value meal and all that. Yeah, let's move on. Okay. Now go back to your organization or your institution. Yeah, there are all these internal stakeholders. Yeah, and in any organization, be it any organizations out there, whether it is for profit or not for profit, you have all this interdepartment team. Yeah, and I'm sure every department is responsible for the company's revenue stream and profitability one way or the other. So, the R&D team, would like some definitive order, from the sales and marketing team, so that they can actually, maintain a certain formulation, and they can actually order the materials, enough materials from the purchasing department. And the manufacturing department can then plan for the production, of whatever stocks that the marketing wanted to sell. So all these departments, has to have profit-centric mindset. Okay, everyone okay now? Let me continue. All right, this is actually a very busy slide, but it is very important, because at the back of the organization mind, at the back of the CEO or the COO or the CFO, we are always looking at ways of how do we increase revenue? How do we increase revenue for the university? How do I increase revenue for my company? And how do we improve on the margin? So this is like the iceberg theory. There's only so much that you can see at the top, but the underlying assumptions and a lot of all this, the purchasing behavior, culture and belief of the consumers, of your clients, you may not know it. Yeah, so again, this is a little bit more what do you call that, academic in that sense. But marketeers like myself, we always look at all these underlying reasons, for whom we are actually producing our products or intending to sell our products to. Okay, so again, pricing and positioning strategy, it should reflect, the kind of positioning, if you are what do you call that, a premium kind of company, then the luxury brand, you need to price at a certain price point that will actually reflect on your premiumness. Yeah, and if you are a kind of value, moderate price kind of retailer, I put here an example, Harvey Norman, not too much on the high end, but you know that you will get full service from them. Yeah, vis-a-vis if you go to a normal, say, electrical stores. And if you want to offer product or service at multiple price points, then some retailers or hotel lines or even airlines actually do this differently. Yeah, they are if it's a slightly longer period, then you can actually book at a much lower price. And of course, nearing to the date of departure, then the price will be skyrocketed in that way. And then of course, a guaranteed low cost price. So in your mind, you would be thinking about, say, Mydane, or the 2 ringgit eco stores, etc. Right, let me move on. And again, when you want to price your product, you want to look at the sizes, the kind of variation, and what exclusive ingredients or patented ingredients or packaging that goes into the production of your product. And then that's when you can actually put your strategy there carefully. Right, and of course the consumption habits, who actually buys those smaller pack vis-a-vis those who buy the slightly or rather the family pack. Yeah, and this is another pricing consideration. Again, when you run a promotion, people want to actually buy for something that they know is worth their money, and I know a lot of people actually will buy products like this. Yeah, they actually give a freebie, a toothpaste, yeah, or maybe a plate or a mug. Yeah, there are a lot of people who actually wait for all this promotion to come, then they will go out and buy. Okay, same. Yeah, pricing and positioning strategy. How do you price your Proton Privé, with that kind of positioning, and how do you price your Mercedes? Yeah, because they are high end. And of course, we can be proud of our Proton, the X70, X50. Yeah, all different pricing and positioning strategy. And if I look again, because I know UTM has quite a number of researchers and successful researcher come entrepreneur and into this cosmetic range. So, the question is, what price point am I willing to pay? Are you paying for a Safirania gold price, or are you a Mary Kay consumer, or SK2 consumer? Yeah, this is really high end. I also can't afford it. I don't use this range. But come to think of it, why am I paying whatever amount that is required, to pay for this set? Can you type why people are willing to pay a high price? Okay, it's again consumer behavior. So I'll tell you, what are they paying for actually? Did any of you guess this? Yeah, some are actually buying because they are paying for prestige, and the formulation of this product, it has a patented ingredient called pitera from fermented rice. I'm not promoting this brand, but I felt that they are a really good marketeer for doing what they do and using good research product into the formulation and being where they are now. Yeah. So those people who actually purchase this high-end product, they buy because of status symbol and the brand name. Yeah. They believe in the brand name, they believe in the reputation and the credibility of the brand. What else? Yes, they are paying for packaging. The packaging is really good. It's easy with pump, and a lot of things, a lot of instructions. Yeah, and you can go into their website and you learn a lot of things there. Yeah, the marketing, advertising and promotion, and you are actually paying for the use of the brand ambassadors, celebrities, and key opinion leaders. So this is the big question. I'm paying what I'm paying for, because what's in it for me are those things I shared with you. Yeah, some actually buy because of prestige. Okay, let's move on. All right. So again, means of price differentiation. It will also factor the employees, the channel strategy, the image, and the services. So you would imagine the employees at the Ritz-Carlton compared to maybe employees at Tune Hotel, Sunny Hotel, the kind of outlook, and the kind of image that they carry with them. Yeah, channel. Yeah, like for example, there is the Louis Vuitton outlet, in most of the big outlets. But again, I'm telling you, you don't actually need to go to LV boutique. There is always this pre-love options nowadays. You can get some of your expensive bags at a much cheaper price. Yeah, and then again, consultancies. Yeah, for example, am I doing contract research, with the Ivy Leagues of the world? Yeah, or am I going to the top RUs? Yeah, UTM is one of the research universities in Malaysia. Yeah, so and is ranked very well also. Yeah, in the world university ranking. So yes, I would be very, very confident if, let's say, UTM is the one who's actually doing my research, or is it being done by the top maybe 5-10 consulting, auditing, company or firms in Malaysia. Yeah, so the price differentiation varies, yeah, depending on the brand name or the company name. Right. I give you, let's release ourselves, from looking at all the charts, look at the cartoon. Okay, laminate. I think the US love all this laminate kind of cartoon. Yeah. My laminate is $500. Okay. when your price is very high, people assume that your product must be very good. But, well, this is just a lemonade. I can do it at home. Yeah, so this is again very subjective. Let me give you another cartoon. Okay, this guy is at a fine dining restaurant. Yeah, so he said, at prices like this, I bet you don't get many customers in here. And the butler answer, yeah, at prices like this, we don't need many. Yeah, so you are actually looking at this guy. He is actually representing the company, and he knows you don't really need a room full of people to make up to the kind of revenue or profit. Yeah, you can only go in by appointment anyway, by reservation. So this is again some perspective in terms of pricing in the mind of the consumers. Everybody okay so far? If you got some questions, do type it down. Let me continue my slide sharing. Okay, I'm going to the examples of pricing strategy. So this is what we call the mass product pricing strategy. You produce high volume, but the margin is very low. Yeah, because you go for deep discounting. Yeah, for example, like Dugro 1989, the recommended selling price is maybe around 26 ringgit. So this is what we call the loss leader. Yeah, so usually when Tesco actually runs the mailer, a lot of people will go to Tesco to buy. But do you know how Tesco actually make money? Okay, I'll tell you. Because they don't only go in there to buy Dugro. While they're already at Tesco, they will buy item 2, 3, 4, etc. Yeah, so this is something like, it is to lure. For Tesco, it is to lure people into their outlet. But for the company owner, the Dugro company owner, it is actually for them to, what do you call that, build more brand awareness and to compete with their competitors during this point. So I want to ask you, uh, do you know what is the implication to the company when there is a price promotion? Can you type in the chat? And let's see if you can guess right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'll give you the answer. There you go. Okay, there's a margin decline for the brand. Yeah, because you could have sold your product at 26 ringgit, but you're now giving it a deep discount. Yeah, but I'm telling you, this is the strategy that went into the promotion. The company must sell 3 times more than the normal period. Yeah, so let's say my revenue now, if for the total month is 1 million ringgit. So if I'm doing sales like this, I look for minimum 3 million ringgit in terms of the revenue. So I can actually make up to the loss margin. Yeah. And what else? What are the implications? We are talking about increased production. Yeah, because the factory now has to produce 3 times more stock. Yeah, increase inventory. Increase marketing and sales costs because the company has to pay for the advert, has to pay for the shelf display, in the outlet. But the factory may actually benefit, yeah, because when they produce more, they actually increase capacity and efficiency in their production line. Okay. Increase stock holding and costs. This one will actually increase price, but usually with a lot of the promo driven, the company will actually look forward to the stocks depleting very fast, yeah? And of course increase overhead and overtime costs. Now, I'm sharing with you, profit is not something to add on at the end. Yeah, it is something that a company plans for in the beginning. So I'm sharing with you, this is the objective. Minimally, a company should look at a gross margin minimally 40%. If they can get 60%, 70%, that would be very good. All right. So how can company increase profit? So if you've got this kind of questions in your exams, All the answers are here. Reduce wastage, reduce production downtime, increase production efficiency, increase volume, increase price. Yeah. So, all right. Why it is very important for you to do a proper estimate? Because you're gonna run all your project costing. Some of the what's the infrastructure, the machineries, the equipment, admin overhead, the cost of technology, the cost of IP protection and registration, cost of production, and all your E&P. And you need to put all this information into your 3-year financial projection or P&L. Yeah, how much you sell year on year, year 1, year 2, year 3, minus your cost of goods sold, and that is your gross profit. This is the one that I said minimum 40 to 60% here in this line, not this line. Yeah. Okay, my last few slides in the as the intro. So again, pricing in the mind of consumers. This person said, I bought this because they were really, really cheap. But another person said, I bought this because it's really, really expensive. Okay, put your shoes in this kind of perspective. And again, the lemonade market price, I won't know the price until mom comes back from the market. So this is like on-demand pricing. Another example is like, a few months ago, the price for your face mask and your hand sanitizer actually skyrocketed. Yeah, because, a high demand, low supply. So I think the what you call that, the supply is back. So the price is actually going down. All right, just a quick calculation of the cost of goods. So you know what went into making this UHT milk. I share with you everything, so please don't quote less. Look into all the elements so that you don't charge lower. And then at the end of the day, the more you sell, the more you actually burn. Yeah. You must calculate, for example, at UTM, for all your R&D work, if there is a production, there's a pilot, a production plant, you need to calculate properly, the raw material cost, the packaging material, production QA, QC, and when the product goes through the supply chain from the warehouse to the retailer, to the shelf, to the promoter fees, the cost of your advertising, the commission that you pay to your sales staff, your cost of goods is so important, right? And all right, and the cost build up for training consultancy, I share a little bit before I end the slides. You have to look at for your training need. Let's say somebody asks you to propose a training and you want to quote. You want to analyze actually the requirement properly. What's in it for me if I do agree to do this for you. You want to look at, how do you design your content, whether it is face-to-face, online, or hybrid learning, and look into the aspects of the developmental work. Yeah, the training materials that you need to develop, because now it is online. You may need new expertise, the video, the multi-channel formats. Venue is very important. Put this in, F&B, AV rental, if you don't have your own facilities, and all your activities. Yeah, task quizzes, case studies. And put in some costing as well, because for every feedback, content adjustment, you want to know what is the ROI, for the whole project. And of course, the other fees that went in, the consultant fees, technical expertise, and key opinion leaders. Yeah. All right. So some considerations, you need to know who your client is, their budget, and the repeat potential. So I know just now UTM said you actually under budget, but you want to look at this, the repeat potential and the favor bank. Maybe later I will share this with you. And how urgent or important the project is. If you know you can't meet the project, you don't have resources, don't do it. Okay, that will tarnish your reputation. And will implementing this project increase my profile? Yeah, you want to check this out. And how much margin would I be willing to compromise? So this is the cost benefit analysis. Okay, back to you, Professor.
Just now, Okay, there are a number of questions that has been posted by our participants, but if I may, I want to ask the first questions. Yeah. Okay. One. We have, for example, we have products. Yeah, or we have for technology licensing. Do we price differently depending on the company or the client? For example, we know, for maybe it's the same thing, yeah, but for small client, maybe do we charge differently? Yeah, because in your last slide, Tinkunila, you have that. But
Yeah.
how do you know? Like, for example, the same thing, for example, I do an asset management system. I'm selling it to Petronas compared to I'm selling it to a small manufacturing firm. Okay, how do I differentiate? Okay, one. And two, for technology licensing or for products, yeah, if I want to sell it, with exclusive rights, meaning that I cannot sell it to other people, or, when I can sell it to other people, what is the pricing structure? Okay, two questions first. I will read out the rest of the other questions. Any one of you, if you have anything to share. Okay, whoever, maybe Tengku?
Okay. I just want to share on this. I think the second question, yeah, on technology licensing and exclusive rights. This is again also based on our own experience, Prof. I think for a new company, you wouldn't want to grant an exclusive rights to just one person, one company, one startup first, because you don't know if this company can actually move your product fast into the market. How well are they implementing it? Yeah, so in my opinion, perhaps you don't grant that exclusive rights. Maybe if you want to try for a small area, let's say they want to try only in I don't know, Kota Baru Kelantan, or maybe in Kuala Terengganu, maybe give them that exclusive rights to actually simulate the market over there and see if that works. You wouldn't want to do a nationwide kind of exclusive rights unless the company is really going to be doing very good, can actually have very good sales potential. Otherwise, your product will, the very nice R&D will actually not realize its true potential. So tak perlulah Coach Prof give exclusive rights unless you know whom you are partnering with.
Okay, about the different companies, different profile of companies.
Boleh.
Kalau
I do agree. Okay. Again, we have experience on this one. Okay. Again, as I said, there is a certain margin. This is what we call that target-based costing. Yeah. So your target is actually 30%. You already know that you've already achieved that 30%, but this company that actually wanted your services cannot afford to give you that 60% margin. So you price them at about 40% or 35, because the company, when they become big, they will have this favor bank. This is what I call favor bank, because I scratch your back, you scratch my back. I'm still little now, but you help me. But when I'm big, I will go to you later on, because I want to give you priority, because you've been kind to me when I was still a small player. So Tantra MTDC, we have actually given some discounts to some of our clients, because we know that they can't afford the price that we usually price other agencies, but we actually benefit from exposure to 25 member countries, because they have representation in many countries abroad. So that is how we actually measure the cost benefit analysis when giving such discounts. Thank you, Prof.
Okay, thank you, Tinkunila. Okay, if I may, I just read up the question one by one. Unless Prof Zul or Dr Shuku wants to add to that question just now, to that answer just now. Otherwise, I move on to this question. Okay, question one by Dr Ami Putra. If a research center or research group gets the consultation project from an industry and the company pay through research centers or research group, is that counted as consultancy as well? Maybe Prof Zul?
In order to be qualified for officially registered consultant work at UTM, it must be registered under Inocom, the new platform, ICC punya platform, or at least to UTSB. If you run the project under your research group, I think that will not be translated, not recorded at UTM database. So I'm not sure whether you can claim mark or not in that sense, because when you register to SB, you will get vote number and all that. But if you register under Bendahari, you can get the vote number, then you can claim. But the nature of doing consultancy is very different from doing research work. My experience when I register with Bendahari, there are a lot of problems. They don't understand the way we work with the company. To the extent last time I belanja my client, belanja tengah hari pun the Bendahari tak approve the claim. So that is very funny when we deal with the client. So I think there are still, I think for me, the best is to register under UTSB because they understand the nature of consultancy work. If you want to serve the client, efficiency is very important.
Dr. Shuku, from your point of view regarding this question, because you are in charge of MIRA, Malaysian Research Assessment, I think when the money goes into Bendahari UTM or UTSB or UTM, we can count. Yeah, it can be counted as a research as consultancy work. Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, in Senate we already approved for consultancy to be done by the faculty, not to UTSB. Although if the quantum is high, we encourage our researchers to go through UTSB. Am I right, Dr. Shuko?
Yes,
Yeah?
correct.
But you cannot go into your own pocket. It has to go to the Bendahari and registered as a research project in Inocom. Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
I'm right about that. Okay, Dr. Shuko. Okay, and I think Dr. Abduraza also has given she typed here in our chat box, backstage chat box, that faculties are allowed to manage consultancy and be counted, but have to go through Bendahari UTM. Yeah, so RG or research center can do consultancy through faculty if the faculty is ready to manage all consultancy activities like UTSB managed. Yeah. Okay, like that Prof Zul said lah, sometimes you have to, in consultancy there are a lot of, we need some flexibility, Prof Zul, but if we manage like we manage research, then it can be difficult for us to run the consultancy project. So
I think impossible. I think impossible.
It can be quite difficult. Yeah. Okay. Question
Can I
number
add something
2.
on that? Can I add something on that issue?
Prof Zul.
I think there are another thing that we have to consider, be careful, is on the legal issue. Legal issue. We never expect. We maybe don't know what happened in the future. At the beginning maybe it's good. Toward the end maybe we have some problem with the client and they want to sue us. Who will back you under that situation? So actually, they have legal officer. In fact, they advise us what should we do, and when we anticipate problem along the way, step by step. I think that's very important. That I think in fact we cannot do that. They have no capability to do that. In legal.
That is a very important note, Professor Zul. The reason we set up UTSB is because UTM do not want to be dragged into any legal dispute with the clients. That's why, like we don't want to drag the university name into cases such as this. UTSB is a private branch. So and they know how to manage in case there is a legal dispute. Okay. Second question by Dr. Sultan. I think this goes to Dr. Shuku. Any requirements for a researcher to apply for one-to-one matching grant? What does the matching grant have to deliver? That one I add because I think that is what Dr. Sultan means.
Okay. So in terms of matching grant, requirement set by the university is that if the company put a condition that they will only fund the project if there is a matching grant by university, then we will consider that kind of matching grant for the project. That's number one. Number two, for matching grant, we must also have a MOA between the company and the UTM, because we have to clearly specify the IP share, share of the IP, share of the ownership of the output of the project, because we co-share the funding of the project. Okay, I hope that's answered the question.
In terms of deliverable, as long as the company is happy, then that is sufficient for the matching grant. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Sultan, I hope this answers your question. Otherwise, you can type in, things that you want further clarification. Okay. Question number 3 is from Dr. Rajazahila. Who can we refer to when we write the terms and condition in contract in our contract with an industry sponsor? Is it ICC or UTM lawyer? Is there any guideline? I'm not sure this goes to who, but maybe Dr. Azurati, this is where you comes in. Dr. Azurati, can we let you in to answer the question? Dr. Azurati is the director for UTM Innovation and Commercialization Center. Okay, Dr. Azurati.
Assalamualaikum, Prof.
Hello.
Okay, so for the I think for the contract with industry, it depends on the type of the grants actually. So if it's a commercialization or pre-commercialization related, it's supposed to go to ICC. But if it's a normal contract, it should refer to our legal first, and then ICC will look at the clauses related to IP. Right, so I think that's all from me. And I think another one, the guideline. We have we will come up with two main procedures. Basically, the IP commercialization procedure and the consultancy procedure. And then I hope that it will come out end of this year. Okay, Prof.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Azurati, for your input. Okay, so I hope Dr. Rajazahila that answers your question. Okay, we have question number 4 from Dr. Rajazahila. How do we calculate the price when the warranty period, how do we calculate the price when it has to cover a certain warranty period for the products? Yeah? Let's say a company has a screening price, which according to our UTM calculation is not worth it for covering the warranty. So how can we exclude the warranty terms and condition? Okay, I think maybe Yamulia Tinkunila or maybe Dr. Azurati again. Yeah, this is regarding commercialization. So maybe while waiting for Dr. Azurati to come in, maybe Dr. Tengku, Yamulia Tinkunila. Tu banyak kali cakap doktor tu, kejap lagi doktor.
Dah habis lagi, Prof. Okay, I'm referring to my experience masa when I work in Tefal, when we have all these electrical products and all that. Usually, apa tu nama, the what do you call that? The retailers, for example, I'm not promoting any of the outlets, but I mean, because I worked there before. Macam Senheng or Harvey Norman has their own company warranty extensions. So sometimes they want to warranty, if the company gives, let's say, a 1-year warranty period, then that will be costed in our recommended selling price. Whatever the consumers pay, if there's any wear and tear in some parts of the electrical appliances, then that will go through our own distributor. Yeah, we will repair it for free. But some customers want a slightly longer warranty period. I think you also have the experience buying more expensive, say, iron. You may want to buy, say, 1 + 3 years. So you actually pay extra, and that is actually not costed in your product price.
Okay, I think before Dr. Azurati answer, I think because I know Dr. Rajazahila, what she is dealing with now. Okay, she has this product, this software product, but the company has a shipping price, very limited price that they are willing to spend on the product. They want the product, but they say, we are willing to get the product for this amount of price, which is quite small. And Dr. Raja was saying, because the price is small, can we not include the warranty? Meaning that we sell you the product, no warranty. Anything happen, you have to come back and pay some more. Is it okay? Dr. Surati keluar balik. Dr. Surati, kesal siapa lah? Any one of you, dia nak buat macam tu.
I think there are quite a number of products in the market. Kalau kita tengok even in the workshops and all that, there are products that you have to buy without any warranty. 6 months pun tak ada, not even 6 months. But you know that you want to buy the product, because otherwise you will have to pay a lot of price difference if you want to buy, say, from the original branded spare parts manufacturer. So yes, if you ask me, it's up to the consumer. Sometimes you know that this is not worth the price, so you just buy it without the warranty. So it's like a buyer supplier kind of relationship. If they agree, they'll just buy it. If not, don't buy from me.
Okay, we have question number 5 now. We have question number 5 here from Dr. Aini Suzana Arifin. When there is promotion, will there be any impact to their brand and customer perspective? Katalah produk tu mahal kan, tiba-tiba murah pula kan. So actually cost murah sebenarnya. Cost actually is very low,
Okay.
You are like at a very large margin. But promotion can go this low. Actually, is that really the worth of the product?
Okay, I'm sharing with all of you lah, based on my experience working with all these companies. Memang consumers, some of them actually only buy when there's promotion. They are, they will wait. Usually the promotion will be during the payday. During salary month, there will be a promotion. But if you are selling luxurious product, you go to LV, you don't want to ask for a promotion. You are embarrassed. If you go to, let's say, the Mercedes showroom, you don't go in and ask them for freebies. Again, it depends. This is all consumer behavior. Kalau you pergi, I'm not sure Proton actually give discounts or not, or additional warranty. But for the luxury product, you don't need any promotions. People don't expect to even ask for promotions. But for the other products yang I told you just now, the fast moving consumer goods, your grocery items, your shampoo, even if you go to local brands, I promote local brands, Bonia, Sambonia, Calorino. People always look for their promo period and buy, and it doesn't really tarnish the image, because it makes customers happy and they become loyal and become the advocate to your brand, which is very important. It's about brand building.
Okay, thank you. Question number 6 by Dr. Nabil Jainal. Is there any incentives such as double tax deduction or any kind of promotion to attract international companies based outside Malaysia to do contract research with UTM? Maybe Dr. Shuku, this question is for you.
Okay, for DTD, it is only applicable to company who operate in Malaysia, regardless whether the company parent company is actually outside Malaysia or not. As long as they are operated in Malaysia, they pay tax to inland revenue, they are entitled for double tax deduction.
Okay, so as long as the company pay tax to our inland revenue department, they are eligible for double tax deduction. Yeah. Okay. Question number 7 from Dr. Elni Nazira Bazin. How do we build our profile to get a consultancy project, and how to engage company to use our service? So now let's say we are very good, we can do it, but people do not know us. So Dr. Zul, Prof Zul, when you first started, how do people know you and give you your first contract? Okay.
Initially, it must be, of course, it is quite difficult to get ourselves recognized by client. But after a few project, I think they are happy basically and ask us to do similar project or different project. So I believe in the beginning you have to show that you are serious, you are committed, and you must deliver. That is very important. Deliver, and important also to make sure that the client is happy. I have few tips actually in order to make sure that your project is sustainable. Maybe when toward the conclusion later on. But I think initially, yes, difficult, but once they know you, they tend to come back to you and offer project. Basically, now I don't write proposal. I only write proposal when the project is 80% confirmed. Then only I write proposal. Last 15 years, maybe I wrote proposal when the chance is only 20%. So basically, I can see when the chance is getting better when you have some reputation, I guess. I think that's important. So at the beginning, you must be patient enough, you must be passionate, you must be able to convince your client. Just take small project first, show to them you can deliver. I think slowly you will grow up and they will come back to you.
Yeah, okay. Maybe if I can conclude what you said, so start small first. Make sure you can complete it on time and you can deliver the project to satisfaction. Then you gain trust, then you can get onto bigger and bigger projects. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think there are no more questions. So let me invite the panelists to give concluding remarks. With you first, Yamulia Tinkunila.
Okay, let me share my screen sekejap. Boleh nampak, Prof?
Nampak?
Okay, all right. So some pricing consideration, yeah. You need to know what is it that you are selling. You could be selling finished product, of course, ingredients, yeah, because we also deal with a lot of companies that actually supply inulin or patented ingredients, yeah. So we need to you need to be very sure whom you are actually formulating the ingredients for, yeah, and could it be services, and whom do you market to is also very important to determine the price point. Is it for a specialized, a very customized industry that you are trying to pursue, which you've not had a chance to pursue yet, whether it's a business to business, a business to consumer, or what is it about the consumer behavior that you need to understand first. And you also have to understand the purchase pattern. Is it one time? If you're gonna get a research contract, you don't want you want to do a very good job that first time, so that you will get frequent jobs, and you want to be considered as top of mind supplier, to that client. Yeah, and you need to understand what is your business objective and the target profit margin. Please understand, a lot of people said, why are you in business? Because they said they want to do CSR. But come on, guys, you cannot do CSR unless you are first profitable and you can actually sustain your business. Then you can give back to the society. And this is very important. Features tell, benefits sell. So yes, you may have this very high-end mattress, ergonomic, soundproof, 3,000 springs bed, mattress set, whatever. But what's in it for me? I want quality good night sleep. That's what I want. And you have to tell that to your consumer. And if you are an established research center, say you are UTM, you've got many experts, you can do any kind of customized research and industry benchmarking. You tell everyone that, but at the end of the day, your customers want this. They want to know that you are reliable and you can actually deliver good data, if they are doing insight mining, for them to actually launch the product successfully in the market. So this is the last slide. Pricing is all about customer value. Price is what you pay, and value is what your customers will remember you for a long time. Thank you.
Okay, thank
very
you,
much.
Nila, for that very good concluding remark. Yeah, so I hope it's a take-home message to us all. Okay, Prof Zul, you have anything to say?
Yeah.
You have slide.
I would like. Can you see my slide?
Not yet, but I think we will.
Yeah. Now can see. Okay. Uh, eh? Okay. Thank you again, for Naomi, for the last round. I think I would like to share with you some tips for success, especially in relation to doing consultancy. Of course, the first one, you have to make it legal. Your project you must legalize the project by registering your project to UTM entity. In the case, maybe UKSB. Don't do moonlighting. Secondly, respect your client. You should avoid arguing with your client openly, because your client is always, they have pride also. You might have pride also because, especially you're a professor, you cannot be criticized. But I have come many presentations that they criticize me. I take it very positively. If I don't agree, I'll discuss slowly with them directly, but not openly. I think it's important. And then the third, build and take care of your team. Make sure the team is strong. I have team that has been already retired but still with me because they're happy with working with me and happy with working with them. And important also to build the team. Probe the young talent. Make sure that when we retire, the team still growing. That is very important. When you retire, you shouldn't leave vacuum, but you must make sure that there is people that is able to continue your work for the center. Be honest and transparent, especially in relation to payment. You have to be transparent. Tell them this is the payment, how much you get, how much the rest will get. As project leader, you must dirty your hand. This is very important. You must go to the field with them. You must understand the problem at site, because when presentation all that, they can ask you anything. If you are not able to answer, that is really, I think, embarrassed for us as with the project leader for not being able to understand what is happening in the field. Be generous. This is also very important. Never complain that UTM deduct 10% or 50%. At the end, you're helping UTM to pay salary to the staff. You are also contributing to the center to possibly make the center beautiful, or maybe nice office, or maybe paying some allowance to your student when they have no money. I think be generous. Ada ayat Quran, la in syakatum la azidannakum wa la in kafartum inna adzabil syadid. I think we have to really pahamkan ayat itu. The more you give, the more you get. I think the last one, I think important, charge accordingly or maybe comfortably. Janganlah kita kerja berat tetapi we are not getting the reward. In fact, kita rasa macam terseksa. I think we shouldn't do that. Should be able to really judge. Kalau kita spend this amount of time, we should charge accordingly. The rest actually we can, tak apa dapat duit banyak, tapi we can always contribute to the center, to the student, to the RA, and by getting the project, you actually employing a student from time to time, and they are happy joining the team. That's all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Prof Zul. I know one of the professor who is your mentee. She shared with me, how she become the person she is now. She said, you groom her and send her for training. I don't know if she is in, Dr. Zainura, but you invest in training her, so that she develop into what she is now. Yeah. Okay, Dr. Shuku, your last words. Dr. Shuku, you are on mute. Can you unmute your mic?
Okay, sorry. Okay, so as a concluding remarks, I would like to reiterate that RMC, we always there for our staff. If you have any questions or any doubt whether you are going to register your project as contract research or consultancy, you can come to us. We can advise. We can also provide advice in terms of how do you put costing to your contract research. Especially, we should started to negotiate with our sponsor to put into the costing, indirect costing, and also allocated costing. Okay, and so I did mention about a few support system that we have to facilitate researchers in conducting contract research in UTM. The formation of fast lane is actually to facilitate in terms of payment, to speed up payment, as what Prof Zul has mentioned just now. Okay, and last but not least, we do have several incentives, right, that you can claim from RMC by being able to secure the contract research. So with that, Prof, thank you for the time. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you to all panelists. You have been wonderful. We have gained a lot of insight and information that we would not we would not know, if not for this forum. Okay, again, thank you very much for spending your time, for preparing your slides, for sharing with us tips on how we can contribute to the university in terms of income generation. For the audience, for Malaysian Research Assessment, there is a section on income generation, where we are evaluated on how much we generate money based on our expertise and our research. The highest quantum for this is product commercialization and technology licensing. So that is the highest quantum. RM1 is highly valued by this instrument. The second is consultation. Consultation is also highly valued. For contract research, we now have higher marks for contract research. We cannot only depend on fundamental research and grants given by the government. We now really put emphasis on contract research awarded by industry and by agencies. So I hope we all understand where the university is going, and at least now through this forum we have some idea on how to price our service and our expertise. I thank you again to all the panelists and also people at the backstage. We have Associate Professor Dr. Sultan Muhammad Ali. He has been helping in listing out all the questions. We have Puan Radia, who is the Secretariat. We have Encik Salimi Ismail, who manages the StreamYard for our forum today. I thank all of you that have been involved directly and indirectly. So I've discussed with the panelists just now before the session. We might have a clinic, whereby you all, whereby we will conduct a session where researchers can prepare their proposal and their budget and get feedback from our panelists and our experts on pricing, whether that is suitable, whether that is too low or too high, and so on. But that depends. You must have the contract ready, and then we can provide the clinic. Maybe we can conduct Dr. Azurati together with Dr. Azurati. I thank you to ICC and Dr. Azurati Ahmad for co-hosting this event today. Thank you all. See you again later. Okay. Assalamualaikum. Thank you. Have a nice evening. Assalamualaikum.
Terima kasih banyak.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, everyone. Assalamualaikum.